Welcome to a video from digitalifestyle.com. If you want an original vintage FM synth, you probably want the classic DX7 6 operator FM DX7 with the gritty converters. It really gives you that classic 80s sound. Original DX7 go for around 600 quid or more, and if you want something a bit cheaper and takes up a bit space, you should check out this TX7. You can pick them up for less than 300 quid, and they're actually quite a neat unit. The idea behind the TX7, when it was launched, it was designed as an expander for the DX7. So it's the same engine, same chips inside, DX7 6 operators, same as the DX7 with 6 operators, 12-bit digital analog converters, just like the DX7. Yamaha envisaged DX7 using it to stick it on top of the DX7 and add the polyphony or an extra layer to the DX7 sounds, a bit like a DX5, which was 2 DX7s in a box. You could also stack the DX7, the TX7 with a QX7 sequencer, and there's a Yamaha drum machine that stacks up as well. So you can see a picture of that from the 80s advertising, how they envisage that to stack up. It's actually got a few more features than the DX7, and it removes a lot of features as well. But the thing it adds is got 32 patch memories. And unlike the DX7, it actually stores all the performance data in there as well, so that's velocity, aftertouch settings, pitch bend range, modulation depth, portamento, split points, all that kind of thing. The DX7 doesn't store them, but that's like a global patch in the DX7. On the TX7, it's all individual memories. That's because you would be combining this with a DX7, and you can have combined mode, individual modes. So the idea was that you would combine it. But the main downside with this is there's no sound editing at all from the front panel. So unlike a DX7, you can't go and change the operators or the individual operator levels or envelopes or anything like that. It's completely locked down. So you've got to edit this some other way. Now, back when the TX launched, Yamaha probably thought you were going to use another DX7, or maybe you'd load them off a cassette tape, or you're really sophisticated, you could use one of the CX5 computers. But nowadays that's much easier. You can use a MIDI transfer tool to transfer SysX patches to the TX7. There's a free ones, you can do it from the door, or you can use something like DX or DX Manager. So now I've talked about what it can do, let's have a look at the song. Let's listen to some of the sounds. It's got all the classic FM sounds here on a DX7. There's loads of videos on YouTube talking about DX7, so I won't go into too many, but here you get the classic brass sounds. And the one that was everywhere in the 80s, E-Piano 1. Hooked up here to my radius for some MIDI control. There you got a classic one. Another one that everybody should recognise if you any 80s music. TX7 bass, or the bass one from the DX7, as used Danger Zone. Loads of classic 80s sounds. It's not all about sort of the cliche types. This is a really nice sound called Strat Guitar. I can't really play with two hands because I'm holding the camera as well, but it responds to velocity really well, so you've got some nice soft. I like that one. Then you've got some nice synth sounds like this called PPG Strat. Early 80s Tangerine Dream, and then of course you've got things like Tubular Bells. Again, another sound you may recognise, Top Gun theme, Tubular Bells sounds. But then, you know, I've got things like Simmons drums and some nice strings as well. Very distinct quality FM, but yeah, some great sounds on it. Like I said, there's tons of videos on YouTube to look at the DX7, but what I look at is this device in particular. Here's where I like a nice pad sound. Nice layered string sound. could even emulate a mini mood back in the day. And some nice complex sounds as well from this. This is actually a patch from the DX7S. So the TX7 is great because it'll load all these patches straight in. So for sound editing with the DX or the TX7 I'm using, I use this DX manager. You can use a DX app, I'll show you that in a second. But with this, it's got, you can send banks and individual sounds, and you can actually do real-time editing as well. So I quite like this one. So I can open one of the cartridges. So this is one of the original DX7 cartridges. I can send that down to the TX7. And I can start modifying that straight away, so I can do sort of real-time changes. I can change the envelopes. So I've got real-time control over it. There's different interface versions, but you can see I've got real control over the operators and the fine-tuning and all that kind of parameters. So you see, so it's great for that if you want to do real-time control over it, but it's also great for patch management. So you can just pick them like that, and then you just click on them, and they send them like that. So that, and there are hundreds. I've got hundreds of banks of sounds on here to choose from. So this is a great tool. The other one is DX, which you can do directly, which you can do as a VST from your DAW, or you can control it as a standalone one. So this is a virtual DX7, and what you can then do when you're editing these patches, you can edit them and then send them to the TX7 in my case, and you can also pick them up from there as well. And so I can send it through like that, and it sends us the sound straight through. It's got full-size MIDI, in, out and through, and a mono output. There are no effects or reverb or anything like that. None of the DXs had that. And the TX7 does actually respond well to a bit of chorus and reverb, as all the dry FM sounds sound much better when you get a bit of effects on them. So in 2023, why would you want a TX7? Well, it's an authentic DX7 sound, full control over the sounds from a PC or from another DX7. And while you can use the software version, there's nothing like having a real device, especially if you want to take it out or you want to go doorless. And you just, what I found you can do is you can just get your favourite patches and load them straight into it. So it takes less space than a DX7, and it turns the DX7 into DX5. So it's a really nice little device. I really like it. I find it pretty. The FM is pretty good, especially for touch sound and touch responsive sound. So yeah, I really like the device. It works nice with analog synths and digital synths like the mod wave. The track you've been hearing in the background is all TX7 with drums from the RX5. Play out that as well. So thanks for watching this video. You can find out more on the YouTube channel on thisLifestyle.com.